Just think about it. It's around 1 in the morning. You just came from having fun, hanging out, clubbing with your friends, only for you to have to face yourself. Scary story time. Hey y'all, sorry it's been so long. My life has literally been flipped upside down, but I love and appreciate you guys for the patience. So there's this girl, let's call her Marissa. She got off of work around like 5 p.m. and her best friend hits her up like, hey girl, let's go outside. It's Friday, let's go out. She's like, bet, we're outside. So they go out, they have fun, they have a great time. As they're leaving, she meets this guy and he's charming, he's handsome, he's perfect. Exchange numbers, and before she leaves, he gives her a kiss on the cheek. She's blushing and has butterflies going home. So her friend drops her off at home, she's drunk, she goes inside, and she starts to notice that the cheek where he kissed her seems a little itchy. And so she's thinking, oh my god, these men in their beards, blah, 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 whatever. So she decides she's gonna get in the shower before she goes to bed. And so she gets her pajamas, goes to the bathroom, only to notice that there is a rash on her cheek. This sobers her up really quick because the area that she was in, that she lived, because this was in her home country, they are very deep and very heavily into voodoo. And so now she's like, oh no, did I just get got? And so she just decides, you know what, maybe I'm just drunk and overthinking it. Let me get in the shower, put some cream on it, and it'll be better in the morning. And she does just that. She gets in the shower, she takes her shower, she puts some cream on it, and she goes to bed. But little does she know, she ain't going to sleep no time soon. So she's in bed, and as she's about to fall asleep, she hears her name being called. And so that wakes her up, and she's like, oh, am I crazy? Did I just hear my name being called? She's like, oh, I'm probably just drunk. And she tries to go back to sleep again. Only this time, her name is being called, but it was her full name. The first time was just her first name. This time, it's her full government. And at this point, she shook. She sat up, and she waited to see if she was going to hear it again. And she heard it again, only this time, it screamed. And she realized that it was coming from out of her window. And so she walks to her window, only to see herself standing outside, calling her name.
Do you believe in hexes or curses? Well, I'm going to tell you what made me a believer. When I was in my early 20s, I got on a dating website called Adult Friend Finder, and that was where I met Chad. We started hanging out, and within no time, me and him had hit it off, and we were dating. But within a few days of dating Chad, I started to notice that my health was rapidly declining. It all started with a sore throat, runny nose, coughing, stomach ache, stomach cramps, bleeding, the shits, the sweats, and within a month or so, my damn hair was falling out. I started talking to him in early June, and by the end of August, big patches of hair was falling out in the bathtub. It got so bad that I couldn't even enjoy my time around Chad because when he was around, my sickness got worse. And I thought for a minute maybe he was poisoning me, but I was the one preparing the food. He was never alone with any of my food and drink, so I knew he wasn't poisoning me. So by the third month of dating, I'm now going to doctors and specialists, and no one can figure out what's wrong with me. They've given me pregnancy tests, hormone tests, done blood tests, everything comes back negative. It gets to the point that I can barely get off the couch, my skin is now gray, my eyes are bloodshot, and my teeth are so soft I can wiggle them. Well, I had two neighbors that were originally from Haiti and had moved here a few years back, and they lived 2 houses down, and they came over one day to check on me, and when they walked in, they said, oh my God, you look bad. So Marcus's wife, Shayla, starts waving her hands around me, and I couldn't understand what she was saying, but he told me that it was a prayer and she was trying to heal me. And she stands up, and she looks at him and goes, and then he says, look, you need to come with us to Granny's house now. They had to peel me off the couch and walk me to the car just so I could move because I could not get up on my own. I was so weak. So I go with Marcus and Shayla to Marcus's granny's house, which was in the deep woods of South Carolina. As soon as I got out the car, Marcus's granny was standing there and she had this long cigarette in her hand and she said, whose husband you been sleeping with? I said, no way, I don't mess with married men. She said, well, I don't know about all that. But that man you've been seeing, he's married. She said, I can smell that man's guilt all over you, and it's strong. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't know he was married. She said, well, sorry doesn't change the fact that he's spiritually connected to someone else, and she wants both of you to suffer. She said, you trying to get pregnant? I said, no, ma'am. She said, well, if you don't stop sleeping with that man, you're going to be pregnant in the next 2 weeks, and I see a very tragic ending for you and that child. She said, you need to understand, the more you're with him, the worse off you're going to get, because this woman isn't going to let up, and this curse or hex is going to get a lot worse, possibly even dangerous. I said, was there any way we can stop whatever they're doing to me? She said, yeah, I can help you, but you're going to have to listen and do exactly what I say. I said, thank you. I'll do whatever you say. I just want to feel better. Hell, I was about to puke right there in her yard. So we go in her house and she tells me to take off my shoes and socks and has me put this creamy stuff on my hands and feet. She had me sit down while they prayed over me and they lit this stuff, and then she gave me a cup of liquid to drink and I chugged it, and I swear in a matter of minutes I felt better. Oh, and she took a mason jar and said she was going to catch whatever this thing was that woman had put on me, and she would keep it in that jar. I said, thank God, because I don't want it. She got that close to my face and said, do you want to live? Do you care about your life? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, when you get home, you call that man and you tell him you don't never want to see him again, because if you don't stop seeing him, you're going to be dead in 6 months. She said, do you got that? I said, yes, ma'am. As soon as I get home, I am dumping him, I promise. Granny sent me home with 2 cloth bags, one to keep on me at all times and one to put in my house. I'll never forget how hungry I was when I left. I had not had an appetite like that in months, and I was so glad to be able to eat again. On the way home, Marcus said, whoever did this to you must not know what they're messing with, because we all know you don't put dark thoughts or prayers on innocent people, because it always comes back on you and your family. So Marcus and Shayla bring me back home, and I'm already feeling better at that point. I get on the phone, I call Chad, I say, look here, I know you're married, I know you've been lying to me. I don't care, I'm not mad. Just you and your wife, leave me alone. Chad said, whoa, how did you know about my wife? I said, don't matter, just do not contact me ever again. And I hung up. The next day, I get a knock at my front door, and when I open up the storm door, there's Chad. And I swear to God, as soon as I saw his face, my stomach started cramping and I damn near shit my pants. And I knew right then, just like Granny said, the more I'm around him, the sicker I'm going to get. So I slammed the door in his face. And what's crazy, within 6 months, him and his wife had lost everything. Their house, their nice cars, their business, all of it. Now I know a lot of people call Granny crazy and think she makes stuff up, but I believe her. And I think she saved my life that day, because I know how I was feeling when I got there and how I felt when I left. Before this happened, you could not make me believe in hexes, curses, or karma. But when she healed my body like she did, I'm a full believer, honey.
This is a story time of how I found out that someone has been working witchcraft over my life, and I found out who it was a couple weeks ago. Let me start off by saying that witchcraft does run in both my bloodlines of the family. I am Jamaican. I just never believed in it, and I always thought that if I don't believe in something, that it can't reach me. But boy, was I wrong. So I'm gonna start by 2 years ago, which was everything went downhill for my life. Prior to this, my business was up, business was booming, bought my car, everything. I was prospering. I moved into a new place, and a couple months into that, I actually had a rapture dream. And the dream was God was calling me. So I took that very serious. A couple months after that, me and this person wasn't talking at this time, but a couple months after that, I got into a car accident. The day of my accident, I just felt uneasy and I felt like something was going to happen. I just didn't know what. 5 minutes later, after I left my house, I got into a car accident that left me with back injury, nerve damage in my arm and my knee. Again, I wasn't speaking to that person at the time, but I had to speak to them in order to sort out my car situation. So we rekindled whatever, we're cool, whatever. A couple months after that, I had a sleep paralysis in my dream. I was sleeping on my stomach this time, and I just felt a dark figure overshadowing over me, and I just couldn't move. But I was awake mentally or whatever. I didn't read the Bible as much growing up or whatever, but for some reason I recited this one Bible verse in my head, and that's how I woke up out of that. It was the walking through the valley of death, shadow valley of death, whatever. See, I don't even know it right now by heart, but I knew it in my sleep to wake up. Then I ended up having to move, and I moved into a new place. This person didn't know where I moved, but they ended up getting my address because they wanted to deliver something to me or ship something to me or whatever. Ever since then, things started to take a turn. Let me say this, I didn't pick up on any of these things until a couple weeks ago when I asked God to reveal these things to me. I started seeing flies in my house, black flies, like regular flies. And it was like I was killing 6 to 10 flies a day. There was no open spaces in my house for me to see where the flies were coming from. Like I was spending day and night trying to figure out where they're coming from. Until I found out that's one of the signs that someone is working witchcraft over you. And it was just so ironic when they found out my address that all these things are happening. The next thing is I've been having snake dreams. And when I mean snake dreams, I'm talking thousands of snakes in my dream. Until I found out that's another sign of somebody working witchcraft over you. Take your dream serious. This person had delivered something to my house, and I had it in my house because it was furniture. I ended up losing my place and had to find somewhere else. For the past 2 years, my mental health has been so bad. I've been stagnant. I've been in a repetitive cycle in my life, and I just could not figure out what it was. I had to stop running my hair business because of this. I had finance issues. I've lost my job, like a whole bunch of stuff. And it's like every time I don't speak to this person, this is what happened. Until a couple weeks ago, I deleted all my social media so the person no longer has access to know what I'm doing or me personally.
Let me tell you how witchcraft almost ruined my life. And a lot of y'all may not have an understanding, but that's okay. We don't judge over here. We all come over here to hear and possibly relate, because there's a lot of people who go through witchcraft but don't have nobody to talk to without being called crazy. But you're not crazy. Now, when I was going through a lot of witchcraft, spell work or whatever, I did not have an understanding on what it was. I just thought God didn't love me, he hated me, and my life was over, okay? But when I did figure out what was going on with me, it came to me in a dream. But let me learn you something. I was being affected in every area of my life. When I tell you, I could not sleep. I could not eat. I had bags under my eyes. Baby, I went from 225 to 150, and I got pictures to prove it. I was not eating at all, friend, but when I did, I would throw it up. My stomach was hurting so bad, like I felt like something was just caving in. I went to the doctor so many times, and they always would tell me, you're healthy, there's nothing wrong with you. It was so bad to the point where they almost sent me to a mental hospital, right? Because they felt like I was going crazy, or I just wanted something to be wrong with me. They thought I was abusing drugs, because I was always going in and getting prescriptions, but I wasn't taking the prescriptions. They would just prescribe it, but they felt like I would make up things that was going on with me to get the prescription. So they thought I was on drugs. Baby, people thought I was weird. I started losing friends. I stopped hanging around family. Baby, relationship was just horrible. Every relationship I came across, it failed. When I say I was losing money, I lost my car, I lost my job, I lost everything around me. Baby, it was so bad, you wouldn't even believe it. Like I wasn't even thinking, nothing was going through my mind, like straight crickets. It was silence, friend. I would sit in the living room and I would just look like my son would be calling my name, and I wouldn't hear him until I randomly snap out of it. And that's when I knew I really needed a God, when I couldn't engage with my child anymore. That's when it became serious to me. I just started crying. I couldn't feel nothing. I couldn't connect to nothing. I felt hopeless. I felt empty. Baby, when I say I had no feelings, no emotions, no nothing, it was horrible. But that's when I didn't have no connection with God. I didn't have no bond, no relationship, no nothing. I didn't take it serious. I was out there smoking, drinking, partying, clubbing, doing whatever I wanted to do. I never prayed. I never opened up my Bible. I was just out there freely. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, I didn't even really put no thought or even belief in witchcraft until I was made into a believer. Fast forward. Now I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm thriving. I got my mind together. I understand who God is. I know my word. I know prayer. You feel me? And it took years, baby. I've been in the game for 10 years on my journey, and I learned a whole lot. So that's why when I get up on here and I tell y'all what to do and not to do, friend, I mean it, because I know. I've been through it. I've seen it. I've done it. Don't be out here just roaming freely. Get you some protection. All right? Baby, when I started to call out for God and I started breaking down and praying and going to church, God came in quick and delivered me from all evil. When I say all hell broke loose over my enemies, I started to see exactly who was doing it on me, because the chains were breaking and God was bringing forth my enemies. He was exposing the hands of my enemies, baby. Why? Because I started to believe in him and call out and put my trust and faith in him. And ever since that day he delivered me, I have not missed the beat of giving him his praise and glory, because he deserved it. Because he could have let me die. He could have let me drown. He could have let me go. But he seen me. He heard my cry and delivered me, friend. That's why when I say never fight fire with fire, go to God about it, I mean that, friend. Do it. Call out for him. Don't listen to no people on this app or around you about fighting fire with fire. They're going to put you under fire. Eternal fire. Damnation. Don't do it. I love you.
So during my time as a witch, before Jesus saved me, I experienced things that, number one, you would never believe in a million years, or number two, you believe wholeheartedly because you've experienced something similar. I'm going to tell you guys about one of those things today. I might turn this into a series, but today we'll just start with this one. When I was around 13 years old, I got out of the church. I had grown up in the Brethren church. The church that I went to was very legalistic, very ritualistic, very religious. And by 13 years old, my parents allowed me to have the choice to go or not, and I said no. I said, that cannot be what God is like, and if it is, I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm out. At the same time, I got into a very abusive relationship that lasted for about 7 years. It was physically abusive, emotionally abusive, sexually, mentally, physically, emotionally. I'm sure I said one of those twice. It was a lot. Like I said, that lasted for 7 years, and at the end of it, I had come to the end of myself. I had lost all identity. I had lost any bit of self-worth that I ever had. I just truly felt absolutely worthless, unlovable, and without identity. Now, for this all to make sense, I have to give you a little bit of back information. My grandmother, my whole life, spoke a word curse over me that I would one day become a witch, that I had power, that I shouldn't avoid it, that I shouldn't be scared of it, and that I should just embrace it. These things were true. I experienced a lot of things my whole life that nobody else did. I saw things, I heard things, I felt things that nobody else did, and I could never put a name on it until I was 15 years old and took on the identity of a witch for myself. At 15, I got my first spell book, and I dove very deep into the craft, searching for an identity after a relationship that left me feeling like I had none. So we're gonna fast forward about 7-8 years. I'm a younger adult. I am living out of my parents' house now. I have a house of my own, and I have a roommate. My roommate at the time was an amazing Christian woman. She still is. I still love her so much. That was her little shout out. But I was so far from Jesus. I was so far from God. And so when we were living in this house, I was experiencing the deepest, darkest demonic torment that you could physically imagine. I mean, I could truly only fathom these things in the depths of hell, and I was living in it every day. I was seeing things and hearing things. I was feeling like I was going insane. I would be looking around like this every once in a while. My friends would be like, "What are you looking at?" And I'm like, "You didn't see that?" I was being led by spirit guides at the time that were telling me to do awful things and that started to be really mean and hateful, and they weren't like that when I started to channel them, and so I started to question. I would be woken up every single night by demonic torment, either one of two things. Number one, sleep paralysis, or number two, a panic attack. And this happened every single night for a year and a half at 3 a.m. I'm sure I'm not the first person that you've heard say that. And there is a reason for that. 3 a.m. mocks the Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And so there was one night that I woke up, 3 a.m. Not unusual for me. Like I said, this happens every night, and I was having a panic attack. And I was so used to it at this point that I was just kind of sitting there. I learned to just sit in it, and, you know, there was nothing I could do but just sit in it and work through it. And my phone rang, and I was like, what the heck is going on? My roommate's calling me. Now, like I said, it's typical for me to be awake, but for her to be awake is very unusual. So I answer the phone, and I'm like, what are you doing awake? And she said, you need to come in here right now. I'm like, are you good? Are we good? What's going on? Why are you awake? Why do you need me to come into your room? She said, I need you to come in here right now. There is somebody in my room. And so I'm like, there's somebody in your room, in my house. You're calling me on the phone. What is going on? Like, I was so confused. I'm like, this just doesn't make sense. You're calling me. There's somebody standing in your room. What is going on? So I'm like sprinting to her room, like having a panic attack already. I'm panicked. I am like full of anxiety. I'm full of fear. I am literally drenched in demonic spirits, and I'm running to her room. As soon as I open the door, I remember seeing her face, and I will never be able to unsee it. I will never forget what it looked like. I had never seen her face that pale. I had never seen her look so terrified in her life, and I had never seen somebody look at me as if I were not standing there and they were just looking right through me. As soon as I walked in the door and she saw me, her head went like this. She told me that the man that was standing in her room, the demon that was standing in her room, fled when I walked in the room. When I cracked the door open and she saw me, she saw the demon go from one part of her room out the window on the other side of the room. I asked God why this was later on in my walk, and the thing that he told me shook me to my core. I said, God, why did that happen? All those years ago, I remember being in that room, and I remember her being so terrified and the look that she gave me, and then the demon just left. Like, why did that happen? And he told me that demon no longer needed to be in her room when you entered it. And if that doesn't show you what kind of demonic spirits were attached to me, what kind of spiritual authority the demonic spirits that were on me had, that demonic spirit that was in her room didn't need to be there if I was there. I remember staying up with her that night for a little bit and just like sitting in her room with her and being like, nothing's here, like I didn't see anything, you're safe, we're okay. And meanwhile, she knew that I was bringing all kinds of stuff into our home. I mean, my home, in the middle of our living room, I had a case, like a chest or drawer, full of crystals and tarot cards and spell books and Ouija material and witchcraft paraphernalia just like displayed in our living room. She knew as a Christian that I was bringing things into that home. She just didn't know how to handle all of the demonic forces that were surrounding us because of the things that I was doing. And honestly, neither did I. It was literally the next day that she called my friend Alexa, who was her friend at the time as well, and now my best friend, the woman who led me to the Lord, and she told her about what happened. So that day, Alexa drove 30 minutes to our house. Donna and Alexa had anointing oil, they had their Bibles, and they were ready to war. Now, keep in mind, I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life, okay? Through the whole entire time I was at church, the whole time I had been a witch at that point, 7-8 years, I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life. These women rain down on hell. They plead the blood over every inch of that house. They anoint every inch of that house. They read scripture, Psalm 91, over every inch of that house. They casted and commanded every single demon that was holding space in that house to go in the name of Jesus. They opened doors, opened windows, and with every single breath they took, the demon in that house was taking its last. At least its last breath in that house. This was a pivotal point in my life because I saw how the name of Jesus made demons flee. I saw how demons were scared of the name of Jesus, and I saw how they obeyed. I saw how they surrendered to his authority. And after seeing that, I wanted to know the man that was behind that name. Little did I know that man was going to change my life. But not yet. But not yet. Because I hadn't learned yet. It wasn't a few days later, girlfriend, that I was sitting on my couch meditating and had a demonic encounter. Should I make a part 2? Let me know. Ashley, what was it like to see a demon in real life? Let me tell you. I don't have too much time, so I'm not going to go into the backstory about how I used to be an ex-white witch and then Jesus came in and saved me, but if you want to hear that story, it is pinned on my page. So let's talk about it. So at this point in my life, I had moved out of my parents' house. I was probably 21. I was living in a home with roommates, and every single day I had a way to channel my higher being, to open my third eye, to align my chakras and reach the highest consciousness, to become my own goddess. I had rituals that I would do every single day. And this day it happened to be a form of transcendental meditation. Now, if you don't know what that is, I would recommend looking it up, but it is witchcraft. I had already been experiencing a million other things that were telling me that what I was doing should be red flags, but because I was so deceived, I didn't see it. This was only a couple days after my roommate had a demonic encounter as a demon literally visited her room at 3 a.m. She calls me frantic, scared for her life, and I had to run in her room. Not suspicious at all. So I'm sitting in my living room, okay? I'm listening to chakra aligning music. I have all of my items and paraphernalia of witchcraft spread out in front of me. I had a case, a Chester drawer in my living room of all the things you could need as a witch, think of as a new ager. Crystals, tarot cards, manifestation things, spell books, Ouija board paraphernalia. I had everything you could think of. So I'm about to start channeling. I'm about to start going into the transcendental meditation. I'm about to start the ritual to awaken my inner goddess, to channel my spirit guides, to open further my third eye and become more conscious and aware. I contorted my body into a yoga pose, unknowingly yoking myself with a Hindu god. And as I sat there, listening to chakra aligning music, going into a transcendental state of meditation, I was all of a sudden able to see in the physical realm my living room with my eyes closed. With my eyes closed, sitting, I was able to see my TV. I was able to see my table. I was able to see the witchcraft that I had sitting out. I was able to see the couch on the other side of the room. I was able to see everything as if I was opening my eyes and looking at it all in front of me. My eyes, again, were closed. Not only was I able to see the physical with my eyes closed, I was now starting to see this spiritual. I remember seeing everything and noticing that my eyes were closed and thinking, oh my gosh, this is it. I'm awakening my highest consciousness. I'm arriving. And it was so fun and exciting until I start to hear something out of the corner of the living room, and that's where I had an office and a guest bedroom, and it sounded like something was in my office. And I looked over to that area and I saw, plain as day, walking out of my office directly in front of me, and then a straight line right to my face, the tallest, and I had cathedral ceilings in this house, they're about 20 feet high, the tallest, maybe 15 foot tall black entity that it was like lanky and skinny and bones everywhere, and there was no face, and it was dark, and the whole room turned dark when it entered, and it came right in front of me, and it bent down, reminder, like 15 foot tall. I'm sitting on a couch, so it bent down, legs straight, bent over at the waist, and looked at me and just went, and it stayed there for what felt like hours. I couldn't move, I couldn't speak, I couldn't scream, I couldn't do anything. I was stuck in paralysis. And paralysis is not something that I was unaware of at this time. I was waking up every single night at 3 a.m. with either a panic attack or sleep paralysis, but I had never experienced this in broad daylight while I was awake in meditation. I was trying, my spirit was trying so hard to come out of my body, to run, to scream, to beg for help, to say something, maybe to scare this thing off or just to get myself out of the house. I was trying so hard that when I finally broke out of this trance, my body jolted into the floor. I fell into the floor because every cell in my body was trying to move. As it broke off, as I fell into the floor, the demon was gone. I was no longer able to see in the spirit, and I ran out of my house. Now, because of the deep deception, I didn't think, oh, this is because of me. I was like, oh, my house is haunted. Awesome. I called one of my friends, Alexa, and I said, what in the world was this? What is going on? My house is haunted. And now Alexa was a Christian, so she knew. And she said, girl, you need to get all that stuff out of your house. You need to stop messing with that Ouija board stuff, that tarot card stuff, that spell book stuff, that crystal manifestation stuff, and you need to trash it, get rid of it, and you need to pray over your house. I also should mention that she was at my house just a couple days before this, anointing my home and praying, because that demon that my roommate saw in her room, it was for me. She had finally had enough and said, get it out. All of the stuff, get it out. And I wasn't even a Christian at this point. I was just calling her for advice, and she had had enough with the demons that I was allowing in my life and the life of others by fiddling with things that I had no business in. But thank God she had the confidence and the boldness to tell me, get it out, because after that, there was a lot of peace. After that, I started to see a little clearer. And after that, I truly started to question, who is Jesus? And why is he caring about me in this time where I'm so far away from him? Now, that doesn't mean that I stopped doing witchcraft, and it doesn't mean that the demonic encounters stopped, but it does mean that he began to step in my life. It does mean that he began to rescue me, he began to show me, he began to convict me, and he began to direct me. Now, whereas my walk with witchcraft was long from over, I still had months that I would continue to walk through things, to experience things, to be tormented by things, and to struggle with things because of the things that I was doing unknowingly. It was the first time that hell got a notification that they were about to lose me. My God is mighty to save, and the saving was coming.
I mentioned to you guys in a previous video that I was very good friends with Denise Vanity Matthews, but here's a story I didn't tell you guys. Back in 2000, the girl that I was with, her and I were going through different issues, and I felt like the whole last 4 or 5 months of our relationship, I was feeling weird. I was always feeling tired and feeling sick, and just I didn't feel like my normal self. One day at 2 or 3 a.m., I get a phone call, and it's Denise Vanity. She's like, Santiago, where are you? She was frantic on the phone. And I'm like, I'm in bed, what's going on? And she's like, go get your Bible. So I get a Bible. Everyone has a Bible in their house. So I grab a Bible, and she goes, go to this scripture right here. I don't recall what scripture it was, but whatever scripture it was a warning about a woman doing witchcraft. And she said to me, the girl that you're with, she's no good. She's doing witchcraft on you. She said, you probably been feeling sick. You probably haven't been feeling yourself. There's no way she could have known that, because I never told her that. She completely prophesied that to me. So then she goes to tell me, I'm telling you, what I'm telling you is the truth. And the Lord told me to tell you, the next time you're around her, the fact that she's doing witchcraft is going to be revealed. You're going to see proof and evidence that she's doing witchcraft on you. And sure enough, the next time I went to my girl's house, I promise you, it was like a scary movie. It was really dark outside. It was dreary. It was raining, and the wind was blowing She let me in, the back door of her house through a sliding door. And her eyes are green, but her eyes were really, really bright green. And she was talking to me very strange. Oh, it's so nice to see you. Come in, come sit down. I sat on the couch, and the whole house was dark. She had candles lit, and through the flickering flame, I could see a book on the table, How to Cast Spells. I got the chills when I saw that book, because Denise was completely right. I looked at her, and I looked at the book, and I didn't say anything. I didn't tell her what Denise had told me. She looked at me, and she goes, oh, don't mind that silly little thing. I was just playing around earlier. Yo, when I tell you, I got the hell out of there so damn fast, and that was the end of our relationship. I broke it off with her. It was done that day. Denise's confirmation, her prophecy was fulfilled. It was exactly right. And I wanted nothing to do with that. So it was completely scary, and I was creeped out. Denise was right. Anyway, I just want to tell you guys, be careful, because sometimes the person that you're with, you don't know what they're into, man. And especially if you start feeling weird, trust your instincts, because I sure did, and she was right. Let's get in the comments and talk about it.
Story time on how I found out that my high school best friend was doing witchcraft on me. Quick disclaimer before we get into the story. I understand that not everyone believes in supernatural things and like spiritual warfare and things like that, but I do. So if you don't believe, then just keep scrolling. Don't come over here trying to invalidate my experience, okay? So let's get right into it because I've been waiting a lifetime to tell my story. So I met her my freshman year of high school back in 2004. The way that we met was we both were bused to a school in a different area. So we lived in the same neighborhood, and so we would have to ride the school bus like way up north to go to school. So eventually we, started talking and we clicked instantly. We became like sisters. Like we would spend the night at each other's houses, tell each other all our secrets. We were literally like two peas in a pod. Over time, I started to notice that this girl would always try to like throw little microaggressive insults at me or like downplay my accomplishments or just like compete with me on the low. But me being young and dumb and naive, I didn't really notice it. I kind of just brushed it off, I guess. But my mom would always tell me like, this girl does not really like you. You need to cut her off. Like she's a hater. But I didn't believe it. I thought this was my best friend. So I just continued to let it go on. Fast forward to years later after we already graduated high school and started to do our own thing, I started getting into modeling and doing like photo shoots and trying to build my portfolio and things like that. And I guess she was jealous of that. So she would always go on social media and try to like throw shots at me. And I was a teen mom. I did have a baby in high school. And so she would like throw little insults about that and be like, bitches need to worry about their baby and stop trying to be models and shit, and like little stupid shit like that. So one day I text her and I told her like, are you talking about me on your status or whatever? Because she posted it on Facebook. And she was just like, she immediately got defensive. She was just like, no, nobody's talking about you, but if the shoe fits, then wear it, bitch, and da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, whoa, calm down, like, So it turned into this big altercation. And then eventually I just told her like, because you think you're better than me, God is gonna make sure that I rise above you. So after I said that, she got offended and was just like, well, rise above then, bitch, I don't care. And then we hadn't talked to each other anymore after that. I cut her off. I went my own way, minded my own business. Fast forward to like, I want to say 3-4 years later, I ended up going viral on the internet for a selfie that I posted. Many of you probably seen the picture. I might insert it in here, I don't know. So I amassed like this large amount of followers on Instagram. I think I went from having like 15K to like 180,000 followers or something like that. At this point, I'm not even thinking about this girl. I forget all about her because we hadn't communicated in so long. So I'm not thinking about this girl, but her sister ends up contacting me, like her little sister that's still in high school. And she's just like, I don't want nothing to do with the beef between you and my sister. I don't have nothing to do with that. Can you do my hair? Because I was like really good at doing hair at the time. So she was just like, can you do my hair? And I'm just like, yeah, sure. I don't mind. I don't have no problem with you. So it became a reoccurring theme of her sister coming to my house like every month to get her hair done. And eventually someone started like harassing me from fake accounts on social media. And immediately I'm thinking it's the little sister because she's the only one that's been coming to my house. And I'm not thinking about my ex-best friend at this point. I'm thinking she's minding her business too and living her life, So I end up confronting the little sister one day and I message her and I'm like, is that you messaging me from these fake pages? Because you're the only one that's been to my house. No one really comes to my house like that, so it has to be you. And it's not even dawning on me that it's the ex-best friend doing all this. Mind you, the things that were being said to me behind these fake pages are things that only my ex-best friend and her little sister would know. They're the only people that I really invited over to my house. So after that, she stopped coming to get her hair done. Continued to just do me, I'm steady like rising up on social media and like getting all these followers. I ended up opening online stores and like utilizing my platform to like make money and things like that. I'm balling out of control. I'm feeling myself, And then all of a sudden, everything just out of nowhere just starts falling apart for me. Like out of nowhere, like my transmission goes out on my car. I ended up getting evicted from my place. My sales started to decrease. I started getting sick. All kinds of crazy stuff just starts happening. So at this point, I end up having to go move in with my boyfriend's family. And I start having these nightmares, like really, really bad nightmares about like somebody throwing like darts and arrows at my back and just all kind of crazy stuff. So at this point, I'm just like, what the heck is going on? So I start getting psychic readings to try and like figure out like what's going on. I don't know what even possessed me to want to do that, but that's what I did. I got a reading and they started describing the person to me and saying like, yeah, someone that you've been knowing for a very long time has been like stalking you from fake pages and like sending you negative energy. And like they've been paying some man to put hexes and spells on you. So at the time, I'm thinking it's my boyfriend's sister because she's like heavy into like, I don't want to say witchcraft, but like, you know, spiritual work and stuff like that. She has like a whole ancestral altar. She's lighting candles and she into doing jars and all that type of stuff. So I'm thinking like it's my boyfriend's sister because I already kind of sensed that the sister was a little envious of me and she would always, you know, try to compete with me and stuff. So I'm thinking it's the sister. And then not to mention, I forgot, when I was living with his family, the sister and I ended up getting into it and we ended up leaving. So at that point, when I started having the nightmares, I'm just like, why do I feel like your sister is doing witchcraft on me or something? Like something's not right. I feel off. Like, you know, my energy was off. All this bad stuff just kept happening, like one thing after another. So after getting the first reading and they kind of described the person to me, they're just like, yeah, she's brown skinned with like chinky eyes and you've been knowing this person for a long time. Mind you, my boyfriend and I have been together since like fresh out of high school and we all went to the same school. So I'm thinking it's the sister because I'm like, technically I did know her since I was younger, since high school, you know? So it gets to the point where I'm low-key obsessed with these readings because I felt like every time I would get one, they would give me another piece to the puzzle of determining like what's really happening or whatever. You know, they keep telling me like, yeah, someone that you know is doing spell work on you. They're paying some man to do spells on you basically. So I'm intrigued and at the same time scared, you know? So I'm like getting reading after reading after reading because I'm trying to like convince myself that this isn't true. But at the same time, it's like every psychic that I talk to is telling me the same exact thing. So I'm like, that's not a coincidence. There's millions of psychics in the world and every single psychic is saying the same thing, you know? So one day I basically pray to God and ask him like, if this is really happening, can you reveal this person to me that's doing spell work on me or whatever? Like, can you please just show me if there is someone doing this, like, can you just reveal that person to me? Like, I'm being so sincere. I'm crying and everything, like, because I'm so like distraught by the situation. I kid you not, when I say less than 2 weeks later, the high school best friend pops up out of nowhere. I hadn't seen this girl in almost 12 years. And all of a sudden, she pops up on social media. But at this point, it still hadn't dawned on me that it was her. So the way that she ended up coming across my path again is there's a guy that we went to high school with and me and him were like real cool or whatever. And he had like a clothing line and I guess he was sending her stuff like from his clothing brand to promote on social media. So he posted her on his Instagram story wearing his gear or whatever, his merch. So I instantly messaged him and I was just like, oh my God, that's my high school best friend. I haven't seen her in forever. Like I miss her. So I'm still, you know, completely oblivious to the fact that this is the girl that's been targeting me spiritually all this time. So he basically tells me like, yeah, she's cool or whatever. You should hit her up so that you guys can reconnect. And I'm just like, we fell out really bad. I don't think she would want to like talk to me, you know? And he's just like, we're grown now. Like that was in the past. You guys should just put that behind you and be cool again. So I end up sending her a friend request on Instagram. She instantly denies my friend request like 2 minutes later. I kid you not. So that let me know that she still had a problem with me. So I left it alone. I was just like, whatever. Like if she wants to hold a grudge, then that's on her. So the guy ends up hitting me up like the next day. Like, did you ever hit up Tasha or whatever name we were giving her for the story? And I'm just like, I tried to friend request her and she denied my friend request. So I'm guessing she's still mad. So he's just like, I'm gonna talk to her or whatever, because that's not like her. Like, you know, she's usually pretty cool. And I do want to add real quick that now that everything has transpired, I kind of feel like she saw me and him on social media interacting with each other because she was stalking me all those years. And she kind of targeted this guy on purpose. So I want to say a couple hours later, she ends up inboxing me in my DM on some fake shit like, oh my God, hi, how have you been? I've missed our friendship and all this bullshit. And still at this point, I'm still oblivious to the fact that she's been targeting me all this time. So we end up catching up. We end up exchanging numbers and, You know, we're talking for a good 3-4 months. Everything's fine. So I'm going to have to tell the rest of the story in part 2. Okay, so here we go. Part 2 on how I found out that my ex-best friend was doing witchcraft on me. So we end up reuniting. We exchange numbers. We're talking and texting every day for a few months. So it gets to a point where I eventually tell her what's been going on in my life. And I, reveal to her that I feel like my boyfriend's sister has been doing witchcraft on me. But at the same time, I'm not giving her like any specific details, like as far as them telling me that the person doing this paid a man to do it, or that they've been stalking me from fake pages. Like, I'm not giving her those specific details. I just told her very briefly, like, yeah, I feel like my boyfriend's sister is jealous of me and that she's been doing witchcraft on me, basically. One day, she tells me that the guy that we reunited through, that we went to high school with, and her are dating. And she's just like, yeah, we've been trying to keep it on the low, but I'm really like starting to like him, and I feel like I can fall for him and all this stuff. And so, mind you, the guy had a crush on me, and we would kind of like flirt with each other a little bit, and he would always try to ask to take me out and stuff. But I would decline because I wasn't really interested like that. But I'm the type, like, I'm real nice and I like to flirt back. I'm an Aquarius, you feel me? That's what we do. So she tells me this, and I tell her straight up, just because I'm a genuine friend, I tell her, like, that's crazy because he's been flirting with me for like the past few months. Like, that nigga is like on me tough, like, you feel me? So I tell her straight up, like, yeah, we be flirting and stuff. He was just asking me to come see him yesterday. So I don't know if she took it as me trying to like rain on her parade or whatever, but I was just being a genuine friend, because I would want my friend to tell me if a guy that I'm seeing is trying to get with her, you know? So I tell her straight up, like, yeah, he's been trying to get with me or whatever. So she starts telling me how she feels stupid and played and all this stuff, and she insists on us getting on a 3-way call to try and catch him up. Okay, so we all end up getting on this 3-way call, and pretty much he tells her straight up, like, we're not in a relationship, so I can flirt with whoever I want. Like, I can talk to whoever I want. Like, we're not together, you know? So that was that. So after the call, I tell her straight up, like, I don't like the guy like that. Like, we flirt and everything. Like, I'm pretty sure he has like a crush on me, but like, we don't have anything serious going on. We haven't seen each other since high school. We don't hang out. It's nothing serious like that. Like, if you really have feelings for this guy and you want to pursue him, you can do that. I'm not going to feel no type of way towards you. Like, I'm not going to treat you different. Like, I don't care. So she basically tells me, like, I'm not mad. Like, we can just forget about this whole thing. We're still talking for like a good few weeks. She tells me, like, happy birthday on my birthday. Like, everything's fine as far as I know. So one day I noticed that she hadn't been showing up on my feeds and everything like that on social media, and that we hadn't talked in a while. This took like, a few weeks for me to realize that. So I go to look up her social media, and I'm blocked on everything. Snapchat, Instagram, like everything. So I text her, and I'm just like, am I missing something? Like, did I do something to offend you or something? I thought we were cool. Like, how did you go from just telling me happy birthday not too long ago, and now all of a sudden I'm blocked, you know? So I'm like, is it behind oh boy or whatever? Because I already told you, like, I don't like him like that, and I will not talk to him no more if you want to pursue him. Like, like, I have no intentions of trying to pursue this dude. Like, so she's just like, no, it has nothing to do with him, actually. If I'm being honest, I got a reading not too long ago, and they told me that you're jealous of me, and that you sit and stare at my pictures and send me negative energy, and that you've been writing me from fake pages for years, and that you paid some man to put a hex on me. So me knowing that I never did any of this stuff to her at all, and she's accusing me of it, it was already a red flag. Mind you, I never told this girl any specific details about what these psychics were telling me. Never. So for her to have the exact same storyline was crazy to me. Like, why did it have to be a man that I paid? Why couldn't it be a woman that I paid? Or why couldn't I have done the hex myself? Like, what made you say those exact details? It's giving you did that, and you're trying to pin it on me now. So immediately, just from her saying that, I was able to put all the pieces together from the moment that I met this girl until that very moment. Like, I was able to, like, It's like all of a sudden I just put everything together and it was just like, oh my God, it all makes sense now. It's her. She's the one that's been doing all this stuff. Instantly when she told me this, my heart like dropped into my stomach, and it just dawned on me like right then and there, like, wow, this whole situation was orchestrated by God, and this was his way of answering my prayer and showing me who the person is that's been spiritually attacking me all this time. Like, what are the actual odds that I pray to God to reveal a specific thing to me, and less than 2 weeks later, someone that I haven't spoken to in over a decade just pops up out of nowhere? Seriously. So this whole time, I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me? But I don't let her know that I know. I just instantly go and block her on everything. I just left it alone at that point. Like, I didn't even care to prove a point to her or say nothing else. I just blocked her on everything and moved on with my life. So I want to say maybe like a few days later, the guy, the same dude that she's dating or whatever, ends up texting me like, hey, did you put a love spell on me? And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is, like, why are you guys trying to like paint me as a villain or something? Like, where's all this coming from? Like, I'm not a witch, nigga. Like, I don't know nothing about that. Like, so at this point, it's really giving. She got scared when I initially told her about like me suspecting that my boyfriend's sister was doing spell work on me, and she panicked low-key and was just like, oh my God, does she know? And I don't know. I feel like she tried to like pin it back on me, like flip the script and like pin it back on me, like, and make me look like the bad guy to the dude she was dating, because she saw me as a threat and felt like he liked me more than her or something. I don't know, but she tried to pin me as the villain and say that everything that she had been doing to me all these years that I was doing to her. Or hell, maybe she felt like I knew what she had done and she was trying to beat me to the punch and, you know, demonize me before I could tell him what she had been doing to me. And I feel like she really fucked up by doing that. She should have just made up a whole nother lie, because you saying that showed me that you were the culprit all along. So yeah, basically it was giving, she's the one that's been harassing me and spiritually attacking me and paying people to put hexes and spells on me, because how do you have the exact same details? And that's not even all the details like that she said. Like, I'm just trying to make the story as quick as possible and just give you guys the gist of it. But that is how I found out that this girl had been spiritually attacking me. So I just say all this to say, listen to your gut, follow your instincts, and trust God. Like, you don't really need no spiritual readings and all this other stuff to find out the truth. Like, everything in darkness will always come to the light, and if you ask, you will receive. So that whole experience taught me to really just lean on God and just, you know, go to him with my issues, instead of, like, I could have saved so much money going through all those readings and stuff by literally just talking to God and asking him to show me the truth. But anyways, that's my story. What do you guys think? I want to know how you guys feel about that. And do you guys think that I'm overthinking it and that maybe she isn't the culprit and that, you know, it's just a huge coincidence? Or do you think that this girl was literally like targeting me and that, you know, through divine intervention, God revealed that to me? Like, I want to know what you guys think. I also want to hear your guys' experiences and what you guys have experienced with, you know, spiritual attacks and like destiny swapping and just anything that has to do with like jealous and envious friends trying to backdoor you, all that. Like, I want to know.
Someone put a negative energy, curse, hex on you, you know, the evil eye. Have you been feeling like you're just kind of stuck? I totally get you. I swear I feel like someone has put the shit on me. It's like no matter how much I try, I'm just in this like negative loop. And that shit needs to stop. We're gonna do the egg cleanse. I just did it, and I'm gonna show you how you can do this too to remove all negative energy. A lot of times the negative energy might be your own negative energy, like maybe negative thoughts, right? All of this cleanse is to remove all lower level energy, negative, whether you have done it to yourself not knowing, or someone else has put it on to you, or any energies have attached themselves to you. You're gonna need a clear glass. You're going to need an egg, room temperature. You're going to need maybe a candle or some form of incense, maybe sage, Palo Santos, just something to make it more cleansing of the energy. Once you get this egg, you're going to hold it in your hand and you're going to literally send the egg positive intentions, all this light, love, beautiful energy, and you're going to burn the incense or light the candle, removing all negative energy. There are prayers on the internet that you can do, but I think it's always best to just come from the heart. It can be something like, I ask that all negative energies, whether it be mine or others that have been attached to my soul, be removed for my highest good, so that I may live in love and light with no negative lower energies within my frequency. Then you're going to actually take the egg and you're going to clear the water and you're going to like run the egg down your body. The egg should touch your skin and you're going to ask all negative energies to be removed. When you're ready, you're going to crack the egg into the glass and then we could talk about what happens with the egg. All right, that is the egg that I have cracked and you can see there's like a film developing. There's some bubbles. Definite signs of negative energy. This is showing you that you're feeling trapped. That layer, that bubble, that orb is like something is just stopping you from being your best. And it starts to look like this, as if the negative energy is all around me being lifted. If your egg looks like that, someone on you. If that happens, you're going to do a second egg cleanse, which is what I just did. So you repeat the process, you cleanse the egg, you bless the egg, you send it light and love, you remove all negative energies, and then you crack the egg in the glass and look at the freaking difference. It's clear, it's not cloudy, there's no lines. Okay, now hold on. That's egg 1 with some nasty shit all attached to my frequency. That's egg 2. Big freaking difference, right? Like, what the fuck? In egg 2, I have some yolk, which is a sign that I am being protected by my guardians. Like, hello, thank you. And there they are side by side. It's been about 20 minutes since I did it, and that is yolk egg 1, okay? Because it's raining and I need to go outside and I need to bury this in the earth. When you're done, you're going to take the shells, you're going to take the water, the eggs, and you're going to return it into the soil. You are not, and I repeat, listen clearly, okay? Do not flush this down the toilet bowl. If you flush it down the toilet bowl, it is said that the energies will live within your home. But you have to put it back into soil. Even a plant might help, okay? So you can Google this stuff, guys. Like, Google witchy shit. Witchy shit. Like, let me know if you do it. Let's see some pictures. And get the, evil eye off of your asses. Like, no more. No one is attaching nasty shit to us. We need to be like clear energy, ready to go. So hope that helps.
To all my girlies out there, pay attention to your surroundings when you're going out, especially if you're going to be drinking. Pay attention to your surroundings. I cannot stress it enough. Let me tell you a quick story time. A few weeks back, me and my girls decided to go out to enjoy St. Patrick's Day. So we went to a different county. We were also performing, so we kind of had to go. So we went to a different county. Everything was cool. Everything was peaceful. Everything was fine until this girl comes in. We're going to call her Amanda. So Amanda comes in. She's super friendly with everybody, super huggy with everybody, like acting like she knows us from a different place. And I'm like, girl, I don't really know you, but you seem chill. So I was like, oh, okay, I can fuck with you. You're a chill girl. Until we started dancing. So me and my friends are all in a circle and we're dancing, having a good time. And two of my friends, Amanda comes to two of my friends in separate occasions while they were dancing, and she keeps tapping their forehead. Like, she's not touching anywhere else, just their forehead, their head. Like, she's doing this to them. She's rubbing their forehead. I was like, no. The spiritual girl in me quickly jumps out because I know brujeria. I know witchcraft when I fucking see it, bitch. You cannot fool me. I know it when I see it, okay? And I know I always talk about African spirituality in this account and everything. And there's two sides of everything. There's two sides of spirituality. There's the good one, but there's also the bad one. There's the good side. There's also the bad one, okay? So she was doing the bad one. I could tell. I felt so uncomfortable. My spirit genuinely felt uncomfortable around that girl when she started doing that. So I was like, this ain't it. If you don't know, your forehead, that's where your third eye is, okay? You cannot let just anybody come to you and touch your third eye. Bitch, that's literally your judgment. You know what I'm saying? That's why you get your judgment. That's why you get your clarity and everything. So if someone is touching you like that, they're either trying to cloud your clarity, or they're trying to fuck you up in some way, okay? So if you're the type of person that likes to go out drinking, already when there's alcohol in your system, it's very, very easy for spirits to come in and leave as they please, because that protection barrier isn't there, because you're drinking spirits, you're drinking alcohol, okay? It's called spirits for a reason. Me, myself, I drink. I'm not saying that drinking is terrible or you shouldn't drink or whatever. I mean, you know what drinking does to you, so I don't have to explain that to you. All I really want to say is be careful when you're out. Be aware of your surroundings, because witches are not hiding anymore, okay? They're in plain sight nowadays. They're not even covering that shit up anymore. Broad daylight. Everyone else witnessing what the fuck that girl was doing, and she was still doing it. So these bitches aren't scared anymore of doing witchcraft on you and trying to steal your luck or trying to steal your light. They're not hiding anymore. Make sure you're praying before you leave your house. You're saging. Make sure you're doing your protection rituals, because it's crazy out here.
Good morning, brats. I'm back with another video, and I had to drop this one because if y'all are following me, that means y'all are similar to my energy. And this really needs to be told, because this is some crazy stuff going down in the spiritual community. And baby, it goes deeper than what I ever thought it could. I learned some information last night that blew my freaking mind. Okay, so there is this popular YouTuber, okay? She is a tarot reader on YouTube. Absolutely loved her videos. In fact, when I first got into spirituality and started learning about tarot and going deeper into hermetics and astrology and numerology and stuff, she's basically the one that like kind of guided me, because she broke it down in a way that was easily understood, and she was doing it through tarot. So all while she was teaching me that, she was telling me what was going on and what steps I needed to take in my life. Sounds all good and dandy, right? Well, when I originally started watching this tarot reader, like, it was just something that it just drew me to her. Like, I almost to the point where I became obsessed with watching her every day, waking up, couldn't wait for a video when she didn't drop videos. Like, my anxiety was high. It's like I needed to see what was next. Shortly after I started watching this tarot reader, I noticed that my life like went for the biggest turn that it could have ever went in. Like, I would have never prepared or expected this to happen. And truthfully, I didn't correlate the two. I didn't think that my life was doing what it was doing because of me watching the readings or even connecting with this person's energy. Now, I'm going to continue with the story, but I'm telling y'all this because, for starters, we've really got to be careful who we open up our energy to, who we watch, who we're allowing to speak things over our life, because you never know what the freak is really going on. All right, now back to the story. There may have to be a part 2 to this, or maybe even 3 or 4. I don't know, because it's going to be kind of long, and I want to give you a breakdown on everything that happened. So maybe you can see the signs and you know what to do, or you know how to avoid certain things, or you at least know what's going on in your life, because it basically took me by storm. And if it wasn't for me meeting this girl, I would have never found out what was going on. So we're going to start off like this. I had a dream about this tarot reader. Okay, so it went something like this. So I was in a hotel, and I was sitting down, and there was a laptop in front of me, and I was watching this tarot reader's YouTube channel, and all of a sudden I hear something like sounds like something scraping the floor coming towards the doors of the hotel lobby. Now, mind you, it's empty. There's nothing but a desk there and a chair and like this laptop, and I see somebody come in with hella bags. Lo and behold, it was this tarot reader. She comes in with all these bags. She walks up to me, and I remember she'd asked me a couple of questions, and I know she wanted me to come upstairs with her. I remember her like reaching in to kiss me, and I like declined this kiss. I was just like, I'm good. I'm good. Stay tuned for part 2. Okay, you guys. So I was talking to y'all about how I got hexed by this tarot reader, or cursed, should I say? And I think I left out on the part where, oh yeah, she tried to get me to kiss me so she could proceed to have sex with me. And I turned her down, of course, because now, granted, I'm not gonna lie, I do like girls, y'all. I love y'all, beautiful women. But that's not the point. Like, it's just, it was weird. And like, I had already been in love with her readings and watching her, and something just didn't feel right. Like, I mean, I know I'm in a dream state, but I'm not a dummy. Something didn't feel right. And I'm not just going to kiss you because I didn't have them thoughts about you. I literally came to you for knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the way that you taught. I fell in love with what you were teaching me. I didn't want to be intimate with you. Anyways, so she was so nonchalant about it. She was just like, oh, okay. Because I basically told her, no, I'll just keep watching you, because she gave me an invitation to something. She's like, are you sure? And I was just like, no. I was like, it's okay. It's fine. I'll just watch. So, you know, she proceeds to take her bags on upstairs. She goes upstairs. And then after that, I think I woke up from this dream. Baby! Fast forward to like, let's see. I had that dream like, what, 2 years ago? Maybe a year or two ago. So fast forward to 1 or 2 years later. So I run into this Leo, right? And she's like, oh my God, I gotta be your friend. And I was like, I gotta be your friend too, because I don't have any friends and I'm lame and I like to hang out by myself. But her energy was on point, and I love the fact she had the evil eye for protection. I just knew she was like me. So I was like, we gotta link up. So I was supposed to go to the studio the other night, right? And it got canceled this day. Like, we had went every other night, everything was good. It got canceled this particular night. And it just so happens that homie, my friend or whatever, she was available for me to come and, you know, kick it. I wasn't prepared. You could have never prepared me for this. We got to talking, y'all. We got to talking. We found out that we had been watching the same tarot reader. And not only that, it goes deeper. She basically started telling me some stuff that was being said about this particular tarot reader on YouTube. Now, I had seen a couple of things, but I was in denial because I fucking loved the way she read. And I was like, there's no way this could be her. They're lying. But then there were certain side effects that I was having after I began to get on the spiritual journey. Now, it started after I started watching this channel. My relationship went to hell. I ended up homeless. I almost lost my kids. Almost died. Like, y'all, I'm telling you, like, shit was all out of fucking whack for me. This is where my mind just got blown. She explained to me that there was another reader who was like really, really good. Told a story on YouTube about how this tarot reader came into her dream and kissed her, and she had sex with her, went through a maze, she ended up beating her, then the tarot reader's energy towards her changed. And baby,
since it's Halloween, I'm gonna tell y'all about a time that this crazy ass bitch put a hex on me. So I had this photo shoot downtown Sacramento at the Rose Garden near the Capitol with my friend Saba and Jasmine. Next to the Rose Garden, there's a cactus garden. And all over the cactus garden, like all in front of it, it says, don't get into cactuses. But of course, we needed these pics, so we got up in the cactuses. And so I'm in there and I'm posing next to this cactus, like almost like bent over, trying not to actually fall on said cactus. And there's this lady, and she just like is walking through the park. She looks like a normal old like hippie lady, right? She's walking through the park, and she walked past like the cactus garden is raised, and she's walking past. So she's down a level lower than me. And she walked past and she's like, you're not supposed to be in the cactus garden. You guys need to get out of the cactus garden. And we was like, you know, it'll be a minute. Like, we're going to be wrapping up. We're almost done. She's like, no, you need to get out of the cactus garden right now. And we was like, chill. Like, we're going to get out the, you know, I'm just saying, like, what the fuck is you, the motherfucking park ranger, bitch? And so anyway, she stands right there and she's like, lifts up her shirt. I kid you. She lifts up her shirt, stomach all the way out. She had a full on, you know, the circle with the star, satanic words all over that shit, not even in English, okay? And she hexed me. She fucking lifted up her shirt and she was speaking some other language, and she whatever, okay? Put a spell on me. And I was just like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Anyways, so she, you know, whatever, she was yelling all her shit. She kept walking, and we was just sitting there like, who the fuck gave her that tattoo? Who the fuck agreed to give her a satanic tattoo on her stomach? Y'all don't have morals? Y'all just be giving tattoos to what any kind of tattoo people just want? Anyway, I digress. So she walks away. She's all cussing and stuff at me. She's talking about she's gonna tell somebody, whatever. But like I said, we was almost done taking pictures. So we finished up, and then we got out, and it was just like, what the fuck? So I say that to tell y'all, she cursed me to my face. Imagine who cursing y'all behind your back. Satan worshipers are real, and they're really out there, and they're really putting curses on people. Imagine you're sitting at the park, you're having a good day, and you're sitting on this bench at the park that you just found, and a Satan worshiper is walking, and she's like,
fuck, that's my favorite bench. She would probably put a hex on you. I feel like it doesn't take much to push them, because I wasn't even talking to her. I didn't even mess with her or nothing like that. And she still put a hex on me. So I just feel like y'all need to be aware. Y'all out here celebrating Halloween, the devil's motherfucking holiday. Don't worry, I used to be celebrating it too. But now it just feels so wrong. I'm waking up and it just feels wrong. So I'm just letting you guys know, people out there worshiping Satan, and they putting spells on people, and they putting hexes on people, and hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your husband, because they putting hex on everybody out here.
Whether you believe in witchcraft or not, the idea of someone placing a hex on you is terrifying. A curse you can't see, but one you feel. Bad luck, strange happenings, and a sense that something dark is always following you. Throughout history, people have feared witches and their power to curse. In some cultures, a hex could be as simple as speaking a few words with bad intention. In others, it's rituals, candles, dolls, or strange powders sprinkled where you walk. There are countless stories online of people who swear they've been hexed. One woman said every relationship she entered crumbled in chaos, and every job she got ended in disaster. She later found out someone she had fallen out with was dabbling in witchcraft and admitted to placing a curse on her. Another chilling story is of a man who kept finding dead birds on his doorstep over and over again. At first, he thought it was coincidence, but then he found strange symbols carved into wood left by his window. Soon after, he became sick with no explanation, and doctors couldn't figure out why. He believed he had been hexed. Whether these stories are real or just superstition, the fear of witchcraft is powerful. Some people truly believe hexes can ruin lives, while others say it's the mind playing tricks. Once you believe you're cursed, everything bad feels like proof. But either way, the idea of someone using energy and intention to harm you is haunting. So, do you believe in hexes, or is it all just coincidence and fear? Because when strange things start happening, sometimes it feels easier to believe someone put a curse on you than to believe it's just bad luck.